Welcome to a book review presentation of the 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership, a new paradigm for sustainable success. Detmer, Chapman, and Klemp say, for us, commitment is a statement of what is. From our perspective, you can know your commitments by the results, not by what you say your commitments are. We are all committed. We are all producing results. Conscious leaders own their commitments by owning their results. According to the authors, all conversations have both content and context. Content answers the question, what are we talking about? Context answers the question, how are we talking about the content? In their experience, great leaders pay more attention to how conversations are occurring rather than what is being talked about. A specific leadership question that we see conscious leaders bringing to every situation is, where are we talking and listening to from right now, above or below the line? The discussion of being above and below the line is part of a larger conversation. The larger conversation is about states of consciousness. Conscious leaders experience what is here and now and respond in the moment. They are not trapped in old patterns. They are free to please and serve others, the organization, the world, and themselves. The authors identify 4 ways of leading. To me, which is designated below the line or unconscious form of leadership. By me, through me, and as me are all above the line or conscious types of leadership. One can be in to me and transition to by me and to through me and back again to me in a matter of minutes or hours. What's most important is becoming aware of what state we're in at any moment as the first key in shifting towards being a more conscious leader. The to me way of leading, or victim consciousness, is below the line. 95% of all leaders and people spend 98% of their time in this state. This is a natural state. They typically view oneself as at the effect of, meaning that the cause of their condition is outside of them. They believe that external realities are responsible for their unhappiness, often pinning the cause of their well-being on external factors. They might ask the question, why is this happening to me? The gateway for moving from to me to by me is responsibility. The by me way of leading is above the line, or conscious leading. Moving from victim consciousness to living in the creator consciousness. It's a move from at the effect of to consciously creating with. Leaders that lead in the by me way believe that they are the cause of their experience. They choose curiosity and learning over defensiveness and being right. They often ask the question of, what can I learn from this? They stop blaming others and take full responsibility. The gateway for moving from by me to through me is surrender. The through me way of leading is above the line. It's where curiosity begins to guide leaders to different sets of questions. Leaders begin to notice things beyond themselves. They question changes to what is life's highest idea of itself that wants to manifest in me and through me. They don't try to figure out the answer. They surrender, let go, and just accept. The highest level of conscious leadership is as me way of leading. It's the least practiced because most leaders can't or aren't interested in this level or experience. It has 2 aspects, oneness and the absence of the personal me. The as-me state is unique because it has no questions. In the as-me state, me doesn't exist at all.
Commitment 1. Taking radical responsibility. Above the line, as a leader should be, I commit to taking full responsibility for the circumstance of my life and for my physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual well-being. I commit to supporting others to take full responsibility for their lives. As a leader, we strive not to be below the line, such as I commit to blaming others and myself for what is wrong in the world. I commit to being a victim, villain, or a hero and taking more or less than 100% responsibility. What we see here with the first commitment is, as a leader, taking ownership of our actions, thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. When we begin to blame others, we foster a toxic environment, promoting toxic fear between subordinates and peers. It's inherent, but we do it because we sometimes have experience of loss of control or by performance anxiety. To get out of this, there are steps to taking responsibility. First is to identify the issue about anything going on in your life. Work, personal, goals. Second, step into 100% responsibility. Physically find a place in the room that represents your internal shift to being 100%. Third, gain insight by completing statements such as, from the past, this reminds me of, or I keep this issue going by. Fourth, if step 3 does not suffice, go back to step 1 and repeat the process. An anecdote: when I became an infantry platoon leader at the age of 22, I was given a platoon of 40 men. In their eyes, I was a young man, recently graduated from school, no real military experience, but I had to learn that I was responsible for their actions and my own. Their success and failures were 100% on my ability to lead them, whether it be in garrison or in combat if needed. My first sergeant and my platoon sergeant made sure to remind me that, as an officer, I have to learn to take the blame and take full responsibility of anything that these men do for me, because I will be leading these guys downrange, and I have to be accountable for my actions and theirs. We move into the second commitment, learning through curiosity. As a leader, we should always strive to learn something new. I commit to growing in self-awareness. I commit to regarding every interaction as an opportunity to learn. I commit to curiosity as a path to rapid learning. What I do not want to be. I commit to being right and to seeing the situation as something that is happening to me. I commit to being defensive, especially when I am certain that I am right. The core of our existence leads us to strive to be right. Being right feeds our ego. It gives us a sense of fulfillment. We know something. But the issue is not so much that being right is right. It's wanting to be right is wrong. We see that wanting to be right creates conflict. We argue with coworkers, we argue with subordinates and leadership because they don't know what's right, and I do. And that's not what we should strive to be. We have to learn openness, open to learning and commitment to curiosity, because it puts us above the line. Being defensive and closed off puts leaders below the line. One model that was described is the drift and shift model, a model used to illustrate a leader's ability to remove oneself from a defensive position, accept the fact, and shift conscious. When I became a civilian, I inherited a $500,000 project as a project manager, and I had no background in the type of work I was working in. The learning curve and my ability for me to successfully do the job required that I had to close my mouth, take a minute, listen to everything that's coming in, and discern the information that's going to help my project succeed. You're not expected to know everything when you get to a new job, but being open and wanting to learn can greatly benefit your program and your project. We come to the third commitment, feeling all feelings. I commit to feeling my feelings all the way through to completion. They come and I locate them in my body, then move, breathe, and vocalize them so they release all the way through. What we do not want to be is below the line. I commit to resisting, judging, and apologizing for my feelings. I repress, avoid, and withhold them. A big thing to take away when you try to understand feelings is emotional literacy. There's two steps, two simple steps. First, develop a clear and accurate definition of emotion. And the basic definition of emotion, really, emotion, motion, energy, motion, energy moving in and on the body. Feelings are physical sensations. Second, you have to identify the core emotions you are feeling. There are 5: anger, fear, sadness, joy, and sexual feelings. Each feeling has a physical location within the body that it is located, such as fear is located in the stomach when you get scared, or sadness in the chest through a broken heart. You can use your imagination for the other 3. But by understanding the core emotions and their locations, we are able to experience and be aware of the feelings we are expressing. People tend to repress these feelings, but through these repressions, we repress other things important in our life, such as our family, our job, our dreams, our aspirations, and other things that are important to us. Commitment 4, speaking candidly. Above the line, what we should strive for. I commit to saying what is true for me. I commit to being a person to whom others can express themselves with candor. What we should not be below the line. I commit to withholding my truth, facts, feelings, things I imagine, and speaking in a way that allows me to try to manipulate an outcome. I commit to not listening to the other person. People tend to withhold feelings, thoughts, facts, and sensations. Withholding these things does not so much have to do with the morality of the issue, but it's energy. By not providing a free flow of energy can bring down the energy of the team or the organization. This is where we go into 2 concepts, revealing versus concealing. Revealing allows people to connect. I'm able to tell the information that my team wants to know. My team is able to tell me what I need to know in order to move the project or organization forward. When you introduce concealing, withholding this information, concealing causes people to withdraw. I'm withdrawing some information from my subordinates and my leadership, and vice versa. Conscious leaders need to practice transparency through revealing their emotions, thoughts, facts, and sensations. But sometimes the hardest part of being a conscious leader is simply conscious listening and speaking unarguably. Commitment number 5, eliminating gossip, something that we should all strive to do as good people. But as leaders, I commit to ending gossip, talking directly to people with whom I have a concern, and encouraging others to talk directly to people with whom they have an issue or concern. Below the line, I commit to saying things about people that I would not or will not say to them. I commit to talking about people in ways I wouldn't if they were in the room. I commit to listening to other people when they gossip. We're all guilty of this. We gossip. We listen to gossip. We hear gossip. We spread gossip. But there has to be understanding. Those who listen to gossip are equally responsible as those who spread it. The motivations behind people that gossip is usually they want to make others wrong, gain validity, control others, get attention, divert attention, avoid conflict or expressing true feelings and emotions, sometimes create alliances by bringing people in common together. In the book, there's a model that's described, the clearing model, and it allows leaders and managers to help differentiate fact from story. And the intent is to really clear up any misunderstandings and create new understandings. This goes hand in hand with commitment number 4, speak candidly, because it provides by giving direct feedback and creative solutions to problems. We see this in the office all too much. And I'm not asking you to go and stop spreading gossip. I'm asking, just take into consideration if spreading gossip really is benefiting the organization and team.
Commitment number 6, practicing integrity. I commit to the masterful practice of integrity, including acknowledging all authentic feelings, expressing the unarguable truth, keeping my agreements, and taking 100% responsibility. When I'm leading below the line, I commit to living in incompletion by withholding my truth, denying my feelings, not keeping my agreements, and not taking 100% responsibility. Integrity is wholeness. It's facilitating the flow of energy. It's a congruence between what's experienced and what's expressed. In other words, it's matching what's on the inside with what's on the outside. There's a lot of energy lost due to holding in fear, judgments, or opinions. When I worked in healthcare, I felt that I was really surrounded by integrity. That integrity was not quite what the authors define as integrity. By their definition, we weren't even close. The flow of energy was often blocked by egos attached to the hierarchy of the field of medicine. We rarely allowed what was on the inside to show on the outside. Basically a protective mechanism, if you will, to avoid grief, reality, and the fear of getting too close. Commitment number 7, generating appreciation. I commit to living in appreciation, fully opening to both receiving and giving appreciation. When we're below the line, we commit to feeling entitled to what's mine, resenting when it's not acknowledged in the way I want. The first steps of appreciation is awareness, simply paying attention. There are 4 elements of masterful appreciation: sincerity, unarguable truth, specificity, and succinct language. Conscious leaders become masters of giving as well as receiving appreciation, and are committed to showing gratitude even in the midst of great challenge and conflict. After reading this book, I have become more aware of making sure that I show sincerity and gratitude by being completely present. In the past, I have deflected gifts of appreciation to others on the team. What really resonated with me was the analogy of receiving a gift and then immediately passing the gift off to someone else in front of the person who gave you the gift. This passage really put a new perspective on receiving appreciation for me. Commitment number 8, excelling in your zone of genius. I commit to expressing my full magnificence and to supporting and inspiring others to fully express their creativity and live in their zone of genius. When we're below the line, we commit to holding ourselves back and not realizing our full potential by living in areas of incompetence, competence, and even excellence. Fear guards the line between the zone of excellence and the ultimate zone of genius. Conscious leaders face the fear of stepping fully into their magnificence. They embrace their magnificence, live and work in their genius, and give their gift to the world. I believe that we've all felt this in the zone kind of feeling. I played a lot of sports growing up, and I'm an avid golfer. For me, it's those moments when time just kind of disappears and movement pours without a beginning or an end. There's no thought, just flowing movement. That's the zone of genius for me. I'd like to spend more time in this zone. Commitment number 9, living the life of play and rest. I commit to creating a life of play, improvisation, and laughter. I commit to seeing all life unfold easefully and effortlessly. I commit to maximizing my energy by honoring rest, renewal, and rhythm. Below the line, we commit to seeing our life as serious. It requires hard work, effort, and struggle. We see play and rest as distractions from effectiveness and efficiency. Even apparently good behaviors can be addictive if we do them to avoid being in the moment of what's happening. For example, exercise. Organizations that take breaks to rest and play are actually more productive and creative than their counterparts. Conscious leaders who value and encourage an atmosphere of play and joy within themselves and in their organizations create high-functioning, high-achieving cultures. Creating a life of play, improvisation, and laughter allows us to unfold easily and energy to be maximized. Our team just recently supported a major upgrade. It went very well, and I believe our positive can-do attitude really helped influence the outcome. About 2 months ago, one of our managers left the team. Sadly, she's quite burdened with baggage that just seems to vacuum the joy from the room. Like the sun burning off the fog, the work environment was transformed, seemingly overnight. The energy is now vibrant, free, and joyful, having a wonderful impact on our recent success, and I'm excited about our future. Commitment number 10, exploring the opposite. I commit to seeing that the opposite of my story is as true as or truer than my original story. I recognize that I interpret the world around me and give my stories meaning. When I'm below the line, I commit to believing my stories and the meaning I give them as truth. Conscious leaders take responsibility for being the labeler of life. They learn to question all of the labels. Exploring the opposite means being open to the notion that the opposite of your story, thoughts, beliefs, and opinions, could be as true or truer than your story. It is not the issue itself that causes pain, but your interpretation of it. Conscious leaders practice simple ways to question the beliefs that cause suffering, starting with, is it true? And can I absolutely know it is true? After reading The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, I started removing the need for labels. Being an admirer of the Dalai Lama and Lama Sira Das, I try my best to turn around labels and judgments I see in others as a reflection of my own imperfections. I try to be still in awareness, allowing the self-imposed suffering of thought to dissipate, bringing clarity to the fleeting ideology of truth.
Commitment 11. Sourcing approval, control, and security. Above the line, I commit to being the source of my approval, control, and security. To be below the line, I commit to living from the belief that my approval, control, and security come from the outside, from people, circumstances, and condition. Humans have 3 core wants: approval, control, security. Everything else stems from those 3 basic desires. The first one is security, and the most basic desire, so that's covering financial, safety, physical security. The second core want is approval, the desire to be loved, wanted, valued, respected, etc. The third core want is control. Essentially, if I can't gain something through approval, then I will gain it by controlling it. There's a statement in the book that helps you understand if it's one of these 3 things. Is if only blank would blank, I would have approval, control, security. It's not the wants, but the wanting of something different that leads us to have an unsatisfying life. All leaders at any moment are operating from one of 2 experiences. Either they think they lack something and seek to get it from someone or somewhere else, or believe that they are already whole, perfect, and complete, and move into a world from love and creativity. We come to commitment 12, having enough of everything. Here, when we're above the line, we think to ourselves, I commit to experiencing that I have enough of everything, including time, money, love, energy, space, resources, etc. When we don't start thinking this way, we fall below the line, where we believe that I commit to a scarcity mentality, choosing to see that there is not enough for me and others in the world, and therefore I have to be conscious of making sure that I get and preserve what is mine. Conscious leaders experience their lives as having enough of everything, such as pre-described above, but we have to take into consideration 3 toxic myths. First, there is never enough, and I don't want to be left out. Second, more is better, so we're always pursuing something more. Third, it is the way it is, and it's hopeless. To unwind scarcity, conscious leaders notice their reference point and check in with themselves, actively challenging the beliefs. So we have to take into consideration the 3 truths of sufficiency. 1, money is like water regardless of flow. You direct where it goes. 2, what you appreciate appreciates. 3, collaboration creates prosperity. Commitment 13, experiencing the world as an ally. I commit to seeing all people and circumstances as allies that are perfectly suited to help me learn the most important things for my growth. On the contrary, people tend to think I commit to seeing other people and circumstances as obstacles and impediments to getting what I want most. Traditionally, allies associate with one another from some common cause or goal. Conscious leaders are able to shift out their state of comparison and competition to see everyone, including themselves, as equally valuable. Everyone is an ally in the bigger game of learning. So as us, conscious leaders, we have to look at life through the perspective of learning and growth and try to find the opportunity in everything. Commitment 14, creating a win-for-all solution. Positively, leaders, we should be thinking like this. I commit to creating win-for-all situations. Win for me, win for the other person, win for the organization, and win for the whole, for whatever issues, problems, concerns, or opportunities life gives me. When we look below the line, leaders don't believe in a win-for-all situation. We see that I commit to seeing life as a zero-sum game and creating a win-lose situation for whatever issues, problems, concerns, or opportunities life gives me. So it's the typical win-lose proposition, zero-sum, win-for-all situation. Either someone loses or everyone has to compromise. We all lose. Those with this mentality believe that there are only winners and losers, and they must do everything possible to ensure that they're the ones on the winning side. Conscious leaders, though, experience an issue, problem, dilemma, or challenge. They explore possibilities with open curiosity and form foundations of sufficiency and support to arrive for a win-all solution. Conscious leaders are able to move beyond the zero-sum mentality, and the energy results into a win-for-all collaboration which allows solutions to be implemented quickly. A win-for-all culture allows for an organization to thrive as creativity, vision, and achievement are optimized. We see this fairly happening with our own leaders in politics, our elected officials. A lot of separation and conflict is created because elected officials from different parties or different mentalities want a zero-sum game. Only I can be the winner. There's no win-win. And we see this a lot, and I'm not here to comment on political rhetoric, but the thing is, when in an efficient organization, we have to take ourselves away from there can only be one to everybody becomes a winner. There's compromise. Ladies and gentlemen, we come to our final commitment, number 15, bring the resolutions. Above the line, we as leaders have to commit to being the resolution or solution as needed, seeing what is missing in the world as an invitation to become that which is required, not below the line where we commit ourselves to respond to the needs of the world with apathy and resentment and doing nothing or assigning blame to others. Begin with seeing what is missing. A lot of managers and leaders problem solve, fix things every day, and then feel drained and exhausted from all this problem solving that they become resentful that they are not really contributing to anything beneficial. And it goes the same way for subordinates. Subordinates may feel like the leader is not listening to their inputs. Do not be this way. A leader should be open and inviting and bring the ideas for resolution and solution, not just from internally, but also externally, where they can actually bring change that can be for the good of the organization.
In conclusion, conscious leadership is about spending as much time above the line by embodying openness, curiosity, and a commitment to learning. We will all fall below the line by behaving closed, defensive, or committed to being right from time to time. The idea is that by practicing the 15 commitments, we will become aware of our moments below the line and self-correct in a way that honors ourselves and our team. Spending more moments consciously leading will shift our view of life and dramatically influence the lives of our team.